Tonight on
Security Rescue Plan. Included in this one, a chance to invest some of your contributions, but no benefits until age 70. With his country on the brink of anarchy, Indonesia's leader offers a deal. Eye on America, how the firearms industry and Hollywood are luring children into the gun culture. And fishing with a fish cam. Debate over a whole new kind of bait and switch tactic.
This is the CBS Evening News. With Dan Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. A special commission is out tonight with the most sweeping plan yet for changing this nation's Social Security system. Under this proposal, workers could direct a portion of their payroll tax into a personal investment account, and the age for collecting Social Security benefits would be raised ever closer to the current life expectancy of 75. CBS's Eric Ingberg reports.
For workers, the biggest and likely most controversial change suggested raising the retirement age to 70 by the year 2029. That's a change hitting those born after 1969, including workers with physically punishing jobs like those we talked to today.
Like today, for example, it's 92 degrees. I don't think someone 70 years old needs to be outside in this heat, this type of weather.
A 70-year-old person just can't do this type of work. It just don't happen. That would be real sad for a lot of people.
Another big change recommended, allowing people to shift a small slice of their payroll tax money to a variety of private investment funds the government would approve.
People will have a feeling that they're part of it, that they're actually making some of these investment decisions. They can see how their money's being invested, at least they're part of it.
Other elements of the plan, no changes for people already retired, easier ways to move company retirement benefits to new jobs, and a guaranteed safety net benefit to the poor. This plan is only one of several that have been put forth. Like the others, it will serve mainly as a starting point for a long and politically contentious debate the President and Congress face over the future of Social Security. Eric Engberg, CBS News, Washington.
The Federal Reserve was focused today on the more immediate future of the U.S. economy when it decided to leave interest rates right where they are. One factor in the decision, the negative impact on the economy of the financial and political turmoil in Asia. There were dramatic developments today in Indonesia, the huge country whose fate could determine the outcome of the Asian economic crisis and the direction of the U.S. economy. With the whole world watching, President Suharto, for the first time, offered key concessions. Still, his opponents are going ahead with another mass protest tomorrow. CBS News correspondent Barry Peterson is in Jakarta.
If President Suharto is a man about to relinquish power after 32 years, he hit it well. Smiling as he addressed the nation, saying he will step down after a successor is chosen by a newly elected Special Assembly he will likely control. But he set no date. I will not be a nominee for president, he promised, a claim the opposition isn't buying.
I never believe him, the slightest iota. I think he is buying time to consolidate his power. I think he is deceived by his own illusion.
But this wasn't an illusion. The students at Parliament parading mock coffins with Suharto inside. Their months of demonstrations and a collapsing economy have mobilized the country against Suharto, and the students are not letting up.
He's been denying this for a long time. He's been denying this for 30 years. He's never listened to us. Now he has to listen. He has to listen.
This was supposed to be a day of protest, but the mood out here is clearly one of celebration. They think they have Suharto on the run. All the more amazing that a week ago today, 6 college students were shot and killed because they wanted to march to this Parliament. Today, Parliament belongs to the students. Nationwide protests are called for tomorrow. Suharto's opponents will face the army and the bullets of a man whose last resort has always been an iron fist. Barry Peterson, CBS News, Jakarta.
The U.S. State Department said Suharto's promise of reform is, quote, long overdue and that it should happen as quickly as possible. CBS News correspondent David Martin reports that a U.S. Marine amphibious group has canceled a scheduled visit to Thailand to be in position for a possible evacuation of 6,500 Americans still in Indonesia. There was a red-hot debate on the floor of the United States Senate today over landmark legislation that would tighten regulations on the tobacco industry and try to reduce the number of teenage smokers. CBS News Chief Washington correspondent Bob Schieffer on Capitol Hill has our report.
Teen smoking is an epidemic.
We are opening a can of worms that we will never get the lid back on.
With billions of dollars at stake, debate was hardly underway when the tobacco lobby attacked the most controversial proposal, raising cigarette prices $1.10 a pack. And that made for an ironic twist. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce, big business's main defender, issued TV ads sticking up for workers, claiming the common folk would be hit hardest by higher cigarette taxes.
Taxing people like me to pay millionaire trial lawyers? Who's next?
And should the sponsor of the legislation, Republican Senator John McCain, get any ideas later about running for president, well, the lobby is already on his case in the early primary states.
So if you see Senator McCain, be sure to ask him about the tax hike he and Bill Clinton want. And if you can't wait until he comes to New Hampshire, call his office.
McCain is not one to run from a fight.
Actually, if they've done anything, they've renewed my determination because really inaccuracy, if that's the kindest description I can use of their advertisements.
In addition to higher prices, McCain's bill levies huge fines on the tobacco industry if teen smoking does not drop, gives the Food and Drug Administration new power to regulate tobacco, and caps the industry's liability from lawsuits at $8 billion a year. But there is so much at stake, and this fight has already become so fierce that people on both sides conceded tonight they have no idea if all of this will pass, some of it, or none of it. Dan?
Bob Schieffer on Capitol Hill. Still to come on the CBS Evening News, more promising news on cancer research. The Market Watch, with a new way of getting your film developed. 3 state troopers are shot dead in Florida. And CBS's Eye on America series on children and guns looks at how the firearms industry lines up its future customers.
It's not for sale.
Drama has been unfolding all day and into the evening in and around Tampa, Florida. At least 4 people are dead, 3 law enforcement officers, and the gunman's own 4-year-old son. CBS's Bryant Pitts has the latest.
Police had Hank Earl Carl in handcuffs, in custody to question him about the shooting death of his 4-year-old son earlier today. A career criminal on parole, Carl says he panicked. What happened next he described in detail to a local radio station shortly after the shooting.
I asked them, am I going to prison? They said yes. I got one of the handcuffs off. I reached up front and got the pistol away from the officer that was driving. The other one jumped in the back seat trying to get it away. I shot them both, and I took off up north. I was heading north when the cops started chasing me. They were shooting at me. Every underpass I went under, they would shoot at the truck. They were shooting at me. They blowed my tires out. 90 mile an hour. I almost wrecked twice. I finally got the car on the road. They were shooting at me. They shot me through the truck.
During the chase, Carl shot and killed a 3rd police officer. Then, slightly wounded, Carl fled to this gas station where he's now holding a hostage. In that call to the radio station, Carl said his son's death was an accident. And he made it clear he will kill himself before he'll go back to prison. Byron Pitts, CBS News, Miami.
Hospitals across America are re-examining their emergency room policies after a shooting tragedy in Chicago. CBS's Frank Courier reports the story of a teenage gunshot victim denied treatment until it was too late.
He was carried by friends through this alley just behind Chicago's Ravenswood Hospital. 15-year-old Christopher Searcy, critically wounded by gang bullets and in desperate need of a doctor.
Only a few steps from the emergency room, the young boy lay here bleeding, while his friends and police were inside pleading for help. But hospital workers refused to come out, quoting a rule requiring patients be delivered by ambulance paramedics for treatment. A while later, the boy died.
At first, hospital administrators tried to justify the no-help policy.
Ravenswood Hospital's policy, like most other city hospitals, is that the emergency department staff do not leave the campus to treat and to transport patients.
They don't leave the campus? What's that? They don't leave the campus? It's a hospital. It's a building. There are people standing outside, their own employees standing out there having a smoke while this kid is laying in the alley.
Are you allergic to any medicine?
Most of America's 4,000 emergency rooms, experts say, have rules discouraging staff from leaving the ER to give treatment, so doctors aren't endangered on the streets and patients aren't left deserted. The Ravenswood tragedy, while extremely rare, is the talk of hospitals nationwide.
Our goal is to take care of the patient. But we wanted to be able to do that and not put basically ourselves at risk to do that.
Last night, Ravenswood Hospital rescinded its policy and ordered staff to treat anyone needing help in the immediate vicinity, restoring the notion that one of the safest places in any city to get shot is near an emergency room. Frank Courier, CBS News, Chicago.